Hi everyone, my name is Glatzhofer, and today we're going to be reviewing the 5 books which I read during my summer holiday in Italy. Which are these 5 books? Aren't they colourful? And also, this is my first ever YouTube, so that is very exciting. But truth be told, I have been in a YouTube video before on my sister's channel. So my sister, Jennifer Glatzhofer, which I will put her deets down the bottom wherever I have to put them. I'll most likely be asking her what I'm meant to do. But she does singer reviews, yeah, music reviews, songs. She does something with songs. She sings, she reviews music and like songs from the Bass Gang and Home Free. I hope I'm getting these names right. I'm kind of worried that I am not. I think I am. These words sound familiar to me, so I think I am. But if you're interested in music and getting in the nitty and gritty details of the voice, like the chest voice, I'm trying to think the words she uses, all that stuff, head over to her. She's your girl. She's your person, the woman of the hour. But on my channel, we'll be looking at books, we'll be looking at writing, we'll also be looking at random things that I just do during the month, because why not? Alright, so we will be reviewing these books in the order of how I read them, not in the order of what I rate them. So we're starting with this book. This is the first book I read. This book is You Take This Man by Denise Williams. And I don't know if you can see, but I have 2 other books by Denise Williams. So these are the first 2, and then this is her 3rd one that came out last year. She does have other novellas, but as you can tell, I am a fan of this author. She is definitely one of my favourite romance authors. And yeah, but saying that, out of the 3, this is most likely my least favourite, but it's still good. Still makes you turn the pages. You still want to know what's happening. Now, this book is about RJ, who's a divorce lawyer, but she also officiates weddings. I know, kind of like a juxtaposition. Can't pronounce that word. It's like a that one, you know. I also can't pronounce many words because I had a speaking problem when I was younger, so this is going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, we got RJ, divorce lawyer, who also officiates weddings, since she did it once and it just popped up, like went viral, and now people want her. And then we have Leah. He works with his cousin as a wedding planner. That's how they meet. Every romance needs a meet cute, but their meet cute kind of makes them into enemies. I know, enemies to lovers. Everyone loves that trope, don't they? Everyone loves that trope. But this enemy to lovers, it becomes a bit of an enemies with benefits. They both got needs. They both want to have some fun. And they can tell, yeah, you annoy me and everything, but you also seem like you can be a lot of fun. So that's what happens between them 2. They have a lot of fun. What I do like about this novel, which is something that, I was going to say RJ, something that Denise Williams has done with her past 2 other books, is that we flip between each chapters between these 2 point of views. So one chapter is RJ, then is Leah, and then so on. And doing this, of course, sometimes people might worry about doing multiple perspectives, because of a worry that when the reader's reading it, they might prefer it from one person's point of view over other ones, which can happen, which then can cause the reader, for example, if they prefer reading from RJ's point of view, they then might skip some paragraphs or just skim read Leah's point of views. But she does it well, the change of her point of views. Also, what I really enjoy about this book is that Denise Williams has taken the 2 main characters from her 2nd book and their side characters in this book. So the main character in this one, The Fast Way to the Fall, Britta, she's actually or close friends with RJ, which is nice because it's just like, it's like an added layer to this world, and it makes me and most likely other readers want to read her next book, because the knowledge that maybe we get to see these characters again, even if they're side characters, but just to see how they're progressing in their lives, is something nice. Because of course, whenever we finish reading a book, we're like, oh, I wonder what happens next, like, and everything. But now we kind of see that slightly. A good example would be Bridgerton. So like the first season was focused on Daphne, and the second one Anthony, but in the second season we see Daphne a tiny bit, we see her with her new child, and that's like a nice thing because it's just another added layer, and we're reminded of the other characters which we loved before. What I didn't like, it's not, I felt like out of the 2 other books which I've read, these 2 love interests, they're probably the weakest couple out of the 2 other couples that I've read by this author. And there was sometimes like, I don't feel a big connection between them 2. I would say this romance is more like a happy ever after for now. Could I see them continuing life together and living happily ever after forever? Of course every relationship has troubles, but you know, the relationship that even if they have troubles they stay together, not really. That's the only thing, which is, I feel like that's something you don't really want when you're writing a romance. You want to have that hopes and the wishes that, yeah, I can see them living and being together for the rest of their life. But saying that, I'll still give it a 4 out of 5 because I love Denise Williams. I really would love to meet her in real life. Yeah, you go there. Let's go to the next book. Exciting times. One Tree Loves, Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, you might recognise the author's name if you've read... Yes, if you read For 7 Husbands by Evelyn Hugo. My mind went blank. I almost think it was Evelyn Hugo. Or Daisy Jones and the Six. Or her other books, which I haven't actually read her other books. The main reason why I wanted to read this book, one, I knew that I liked how this author writes. 2, I saw that the movie was on Amazon Prime and I kind of wanted to read the book before watching it. The annoying thing is, my sister then ended up reading this after me. And look what she did. Let's talk about this book. Quick summary of this book. High school sweethearts Emma and Jessie. Or is it just Jess? No, Jessie. Moved far away from home together, travelling the world, chasing every adventure, building a life of their own. 364 days. Oh wait, I started that sentence wrong. Anyway, they get married. A year after their wedding, the anniversary, Jessie goes on this trip. But then the helicopter crashes and he is presumed dead. And Emma's devastated, as you would be. This is like your high school sweetheart. You've been like, this is who you've grown up from teenager to adult life with. So it's going to be extremely hard to adjust from that. So she moves back home, and a few years later she bumps into an old friend, Sam. And then she and Sam starts hitting off. They fall in love. He proposes. She says yes. A week after saying yes, she gets a phone call. And she's like, hello. And on the other side of the phone is Jessie going, Emma, I'm alive. And she's like, and now she has a fiance and a husband, and she's like a thigh, you know? She's like, what am I meant to do? She's so confused. I would be confused. So I remember I was so tempted to just read the end and just be like, tell me. But I was wrong. I was good. I read it all the way through and found out at the end. I won't tell you who she chooses. But this made me feel all the feelings you could. I cried. I was like, but because it is a hard thing, she obviously loves them both, because it's not like she and Jesse left it on a bad note and they ended up getting a divorce or whatever. They were in their peak love life time, and he was presumed dead. So the whole thing is the question of who is she as a person? Is she who she is, who she was with Jesse before? Like, is she still that travelling person, and can she see herself still doing that? Or is she now who she has kind of become, this person who's back at home, looking after the shop that her parents started, this bookshop. I liked it because it makes you think, and it makes you connect with yourself, which is very sad in some ways. And it's just, the writing was very, it hit you in the heart. One thing I will say, I kind of had a feeling of who she was going to choose, just because of, I don't want to please spoil it, just because of how much this person was in it during the introduction of these two love interests. Because as you know, she knows these two men from when she was younger, at high school, so it was just that I was a bit like, because this person's more in this book, I kind of feel like she's gonna be choosing him at the end, which I was right. Another thing is, if you've watched the movie and you're a bit like, what? That was my reaction when I watched the movie. It just didn't connect. I feel like it would have been good as a 3-parter maybe. Like, that could have been a good, because could have dove in and be more, you know? The book was good, which is why 4 out of 5. Yeah, over there. But let's go to the next book. You're not the next book. This is the next book. One Summer in Italy by Sue Moorcroft. Did I pronounce that correctly? Of course, being in Italy for the summer, I had to read a book about Italy in the summer. When Sophia's father dies, it makes her look at things afresh. Having been his carer for many years, Sophia knows it's time to live her own life, yes, and fulfill the promises she made in his final days. Which is why she then goes to Italy, to where he is from, and kind of make amends with his family, because she's never met any of the family, and kind of learn why this happened. And so she's waiting with this other girl who's younger, so she's in her 30s. This girl is like 19. They're two are working, and there's this other guy who's in his like late 30s as well. He's not working, but he's a person who's staying at the hotel, so they something serve her. And of course, as is a romance, Sophia and that guy gets the freaky on. Oh, this does say this here. So there she meets Amy, the 19-year-old, who's desperately trying to find her way in life after discovering her dad, her dad isn't her biological father. Wow. Slam the brakes. This is like a soap opera. And the guy is Levi. Handsome and mysterious Levi proves to be the biggest distraction as her new life begins. Like Sophia's new life, not Amy's new life. I'm gonna be honest, out of all the books, this most likely is not my favourite. It's still good. I want to put out there, whenever I'm reviewing books, I do think all the writing is good. I'm not slating them. It's just, of course, some of it is my personal opinions, and everyone, if they like it, you like it. Live your life. If I don't like it, let me live my life. But, you know, we all have different opinions, and that's just how we are. But I did like it. It had some cute romance elements to it and everything. What I didn't like was there was a subplot which I really think it didn't need, like, the story could have survived without this subplot. It was a very bizarre subplot. I didn't understand why it was in it, and I was like, I would have taken it out. If I was the editor, I don't know how editors actually work, but if I was the editor, I think I would have said either change this subplot to make it fit more in and make it have a deep understanding, like, how it fits in, because it does fit in per se, but I mean, more the main plot didn't need that subplot. Like, that main plot would survive. Everything that happened would have still happened without that plot, which was mainly just one other character. I was like, who are you? But besides that, it's fine. But one thing I did like is I like that there was some Italian words. Si, grazie. Bellissimo. Which was nice. And I was like, cool, I can read some Italian. I always surprise myself when I can actually read some Italian. I'm like, hang on, Sarah, you know more Italian than you actually realise. So it's always a nice surprise. Another thing that I think, to be honest, I think it's more just Amy is young, so she is like, but it was kind of sad her saying that her dad was not her real dad, even though that guy's brought her up since she was a baby, since she was born. Like, because her dad thought she was her child as well. So it's kind of like, no, he's still your dad, just because he's not biologically related to you. He's one that's been there with you from day dot, like he has stayed there forever. But maybe it's just because she is young, so you are a teenager, so you would be reacting in quite a dramatic way. Because was quite dramatic, especially when you leave the house and you're doing things by yourself and like you're independent for the first time. So actually, you know what, yeah, I can kind of see it. I kind of see why she did that. But overall, I would give this book a 3 out of 5, because I still think if the writing is decent and good and the story does flow and you don't get confused. So tick for that. And my fourth book is Dial A for Aunties by Suntanto. But this is about Maddie, not Maddie, that's an E. Maddie Chan accidentally kills her blind date. Scandalous. And she turns to her aunties for help because they're the one that set her up on this blind date, you know? But hiding this body is going to be a lot harder than I thought, especially when her family's wedding business has the biggest wedding of the year happening right now. And it's all bad timing because at the wedding venue, you know who's working at that wedding venue? Her ex. But not any ex, the one that got away. So it also has some romance elements. But yeah, this book, I absolutely loved it. It was actually really funny and hilarious. I would say one thing quickly about this book that I would have changed slightly, just for formatting mainly, just how it is. So it's split into parts. I swear it's split into parts. I'm trying to see the parts. It's split into 3 parts, if I'm correct. But yeah, it's split into 3 parts, and in the first part it sometimes goes back in time, and I feel like you should have started maybe with as the first chapter was the present day, and then to second chapter we go back in time 7 years, and I feel like then the next few chapters could have just stayed in kind of a past as we slowly get back in present day, because in the first part we kept going one chapter present day, next chapter back in time, next chapter present, back in time, and then the next 2 parts there was no going back in time and everything. So I just felt like it would have been better if the first chapter how it was to just get your settings and everything, and then go back in time, keep it back in time, and then carry on with the story. But besides that, I really enjoyed it. it was very silly. It reminds me of like those comedy movies such as Bridesmaids. I could see this book becoming a movie because it was very silly at moments, and one part I was reading, I'm like, come on, really? But then I was thinking, this is a comedy, like a comedy woman imprint prize. You go. It's a very comedic book. I was laughing, which is why the silliness that was added on top just makes sense. And I really loved how, when I was like, also another reason why I said I can see this as a movie is because when I was reading it, the dialogue between Medi-chan and her three aunties and one mum was just so snappy and back and forward. I was like, I could visualise this, and yeah, I do hope it does become a movie because I think this should be great. I'll give it a 4.5. I think originally I said 4, but now going back over and talking about it out loud, 4.5. That's just hilarious. And we're finally now on the last book, which is 7 Exes by Lucy Vine. And I would admit, I think this might be one of my favourite out of the 5 books which I've read. Which, when I looked at the reviews, I was actually kind of shocked. But it just shows how everyone has a different opinion on what they like. But basically, this book is about Esther, and she's chilling with her 2 friends, moaning about her love life, as we all do. Well, maybe not all, but as we do. And she finds this magazine from like 20 years. And there's an article in it, and it pretty much states how everyone meets 7 people before they find the one. Which I've seen articles like that before. They say you meet 3 people before you meet the one. You meet 5 people before you meet one. But anyway, this article states how there's 7 people, and these 7 people are the first love, the work mistake, the friend with benefits, the overlap, the missed chance, the bastard, and the serious one. And although they're all laughing, Esther starts to realise, hang on, all of my 7 exes, they fit in this category. And so she thinks, what if one of my 7 exes is actually the one? So she goes on this journey, kind of to rekindle, connect with them, and see if they are the one. I really liked it because of how realistic it was, because like I said, there's something in my eye. As I mentioned, we've all seen those articles, and we kind of, I guess, panic, but also it's just how she views the world. And there's moments when I know readers will probably think, what are you doing, Esther? You're being a bit petty, you're being annoying. But I'm reading this, I'm like, she's just being a realistic human being. We all can be petty, we all can be annoying, we all make mistakes that we have to realise is a mistake, but then we don't want to admit it's a mistake because we don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to be like, hand up, I'm sorry, my fault, which is something Esther does, although after she realises, she's like, sorry. But I know people are like, oh my god, Esther, just do this. But I think we all know when we look back, like in our past or anything, how we are the same as Esther. What I also like is how it's very clearly formatted. So when we are talking about the exes, so it's like this. So this is the first ex, so the first love, and each ex has 3 parts. So when we go back in time with each ex, it'd be X1, Alistair, aka the first love, or aka the work mistake, and it'd be part 1, part 2, part 3. But then when it's just normal, not there, but it just says chapter 6, we know we're in present day. One thing which I would have liked is when we went back in time, just to kind of say how many years ago it was, just for me, and I'm sure other readers out there, to just kind of know where we are in her life, even though you can kind of establish where we are. For example, her first love was her secondary school and crossed over to uni, and everything, but couldn't properly pinpoint where it was in her life, so I think that would have been something I personally would have liked. But still saying that, it was clear. And I know from reading the blurb, people might be like, oh, but this isn't true, you don't have 7 loves before the one, which obviously some people marry their high school sweetheart. But this is where it's kind of spoiler, but not spoiler. In the near end, Esther does bump into the person who wrote the article, and she pretty much states that she could have titled these 7 exes any other name and you would have related with it. You, as a person, just do that to find links with the article or things like that. So yeah, and it's just something that she wrote just to get money. It wasn't something to take seriously, which I think is something that we should all take to heart when reading things, especially when it's about love and relationship, not to always take it to heart and feel down, because these people who write it are most likely just writing it because they need the money, especially right now. There's something else I want to say, but that's a spoiler, but it was a nice little twist and I was like, oh, yes. You have to read it now to see why I reacted, going, oh, yes. So these are the 5 books which I read. I don't think I would give them any of the Sarah stamp. Let me show you the Sarah stamp. Ooh. My mum bought these for me for my birthday, and I haven't used them, but there's only like 12, so my favourite books will get one of these stamps. But because I don't have many, that's why I suggest I'm going to do my favourite books, because then I'm just going to plaster them over and then I'll run out and be like, a bit sad. Unfortunately, I don't think any of these, no. But they were all good, and if you would like something about love, about that you could relate closely together, I would advise this one. If you would like something to do about love that doesn't mention COVID, this does mention like grazes upon COVID slightly, just mention, oh yeah, COVID was a few years ago, then I would advise you to go with this book, especially if you like the enemies to lovers trope, or this book if you want a book that makes you feel the emotions, that you want a good cry, you want to be like, I would go with this book. Now if you want something silly, funny, with a sprinkle of romance, then definitely this book. I would recommend this book for that. I am currently now reading this book, so this book will be in the next video of book reviews, and hopefully another one. Otherwise we'll just be talking about this book, which I will tell you so far I am enjoying it. If you would like to read my book reviews as well, I will hopefully have put it down in the link there, we shall see. If not, I'm sorry. You can always go on my about area on my page and there'll be a link to my blogs, and on there you can find writing tips, book reviews, travel, and also I have this little Dear Luna thing which I did when I was travelling Asia. And yeah, there we have it. If you enjoyed this little video of book reviews and you want to be updated when I put another book review up, or put up some writing tips, or just showcase what I've done in this month or next month, or you know, or just some fun little video, if you like seeing my face basically, then don't forget to subscribe. My sister said you're gonna have to do that, so subscribe, press the thumbs button, like it, and yeah, I will then see you on the flip side. No one says that. I will then see you where I will be showing you what I got up to this month, which surprised me, and thankfully this month has been quite busy, so we are happy with that. But ciao, see ya. dui. I don't know. I'm just saying all the languages I know now. Bye. Until next time. And today we're going to be reviewing the 5 books. This is 10. But truth be told, that's not what I'm saying. My name is Sarah Glatzhofer, and today I forgot my lines. This is why I'm not an actress. Romeo. Okay, we're I broke my toe. I just broke some skin off my toe. That was painful. Let's get some freaky on. Alright, so we're gonna start in the order of the books. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna start with this book. Do you take... Oh my god, what was that? What fell? That scared me. What were my words? Okay. Also, what I really love about this author... That's my dog. Nash. Excuse me. I am a filming influencer, actress, writer in the making. Sorry. I don't know how to finish this. Bye.